Chapter number 21, Offences and Penalties. Test your knowledge question. Question number 1. Can prosecution be launched for each of the following actions or defaults committed? If yes, then explain the relevant provisions of the Act and the quantum of prescribed punishment. The assessee had restrained and not allowed the officer authorized as per section 132 subsection 1 clause 2b of the Act to inspect the documents maintained in the form of electronic form and the books of accounts. Answer to first is failure to afford facility to the officer authorized as per section 132 subsection 1 clause 2b in a case for which prosecution can be launched under section 275b, and such person shall be punishable with rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years and shall be liable to fine. Question का second part. The assessee deliberately has failed to comply with the requirement of section 142 subsection 1 and or 142 subsection 2a. Willful failure to produce books of accounts and documents as required under section 142 subsection 1 or willful failure to comply with the direction to get the accounts audited under section 142 2a is a case for which prosecution can be launched under section 276d, and such person shall be punishable with rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year plus fine. Third part of question. The assessee deliberately has failed to make the payment of tax collected under section 206c. Answer. Deliberate failure to deposit tax collected TCS under section 206 subsection 206c to the credit of the central government is a case for which prosecution can be launched under section 276bb, and such person shall be punishable with a rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 3 months but which may extend to 7 years with fine. Question number 2. The assessing officer lodged a complaint against Messrs. KLM, a firm under section 276cc of the Income Tax Act 1961 for failure to furnish its return of income for the assessment year 1920 within the due date under section 139 subsection 1. The tax payable on the assessed income as reduced by the advance tax paid and tax deducted at source was rupees 60,000. The appeal filed by the firm against the order of assessment was allowed by the Commissioner Appeals. The assessing officer passed an order giving effect to the order of Commissioner Appeals. The tax payable by the firm as per the said order of the assessing officer was 2900. The assessing officer has accepted the order of the Commissioner Appeals and has not preferred an appeal against it to the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. The firm desires to know of the maintainability of the prosecution proceedings in the facts and circumstances of the case. Would your answer change if the person against whom complaint was lodged was KLM Limited, a company instead of a firm? Answer. Section 276cc provides for prosecution for willful failure to furnish a return of income within the prescribed time. In a case where tax would have been evaded had the failure not been discovered, since the amount of tax which would have been evaded does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs, the imprisonment would be for a term of 3 months to 2 years. In addition, fine would also be attracted. However, in a case where the return of income is not filed within the due date, prosecution proceedings will not be attracted if the tax payable by a person other than a company on the total income determined on regular assessment as reduced by the advance tax, if any, paid and tax deducted at source does not exceed rupees 3000. In this case, even though the tax liability of the firm as per the original order of assessment exceeded rupees 3000, however, as a result of the order of Commissioner Appeals, it got reduced to 2900, which is less than rupees 3000. Therefore, since the tax liability of the firm on final assessment was determined at rupees 2900, the prosecution proceedings are not maintainable. In the case of Guru Nanak Enterprises versus ITO, where the facts were similar, the Supreme Court held that the prosecution was unwarranted. And if it not a firm and was a company, then yes, in case of a company, the answer would be different and prosecution proceedings would be maintainable. Question number 3. Explain section 278C applicable in respect of offences committed by Hindu Undivided Family HUF. As per section 278C subsection 1 of the Income Tax Act 1961, where an offence under the Income Tax Act 1961 has been committed by an HUF, the Karta shall be deemed to be the guilty. The Karta shall be deemed to be guilty of the offence and shall be liable to be proceeded against and punished accordingly. However, the Karta shall not be liable to any punishment if he proves that the offence was committed without his knowledge or that he had exercised all due diligence to prevent the commission of such offence. As per section 278C subsection 2, where an offence under the Income Tax Act 1961 has been committed by a HUF and it is proved that the offence has been committed with the consent or connivance of or is attributable to any neglect on the part of any member of the HUF, such member shall also be deemed to be guilty of that offence and shall be liable to be proceeded against and punished accordingly. Question number 4. Can the department launch prosecution in a case where they have accepted the revised return filed by the assessee, rectifying a mistake in the original return? The question came up before the Karnataka High Court in K.E. Sunil Babu Assistant CIT versus Steel Processors. The High Court observed that since the department had accepted the revised return under section 139 subsection 5, it was clear that there was a bona fide mistake in the original return and there was no element of mens rea. Therefore, the High Court held that the department cannot launch prosecution under section 276C, 277 and 278.